Hi everybody. Hi, good evening from, as you can see it's already dark. Winter is very much coming in the UK at the moment. We're heading on into fall. I'm just going to give a few minutes for everybody that's bumping through. There are hundreds and hundreds of people signed up for this tonight, which is absolutely incredible. So first and foremost, please know that whatever has brought you here tonight, you are in extraordinary company, and I hope that that kind of normalizes for everybody that we really are in this together, and anything that I may have said on some of the videos and that is resonating with you all, it is something that is truly resonating with all of us right now. So just take a while to settle in. The chat function is open. One thing I would like to mention, I'll keep saying this a couple of times just as people are joining, we are going to use the chat function. There's going to be some times that we're sharing things. So if you don't feel comfortable having your real name on there, feel free to change it. So there are going to be some times that we are opening things up to the group, as I say, and putting some stuff on the chat function. So if you would feel more comfortable, feel free to change it. Something respectful, hopefully, but yeah, that's fine. Feel free to change your name on there. We're going to be doing some sharing. This is just brilliant. I'm delighted. And maybe pop in the chat function while we're kind of welcoming people in. I'd love to know where people are joining us from right now. Someone can't hear. I assume everybody else is okay with sound. Ah, India, hello. Thank you for joining us. I love that. Thank you for staying up as well. I appreciate that. Oh, Sol, hi. So good to see you. Ah, wow, look at these piling through. It's amazing. Mexico City. Oh, fantastic. Thank you all. Fellow Londoners, much appreciated. You'll be feeling the winter, the bite of winter as well. So yeah, please everyone keep just welcoming each other in, and please do know that, as I say, this has really resonated with so many of you. There are, many, I'm honoured, but so many people want to be here this evening and whatever part of your day it is to go through looking into self-love and decoding that for ourselves. So the very fact that we're all here doing this together, I hope is giving you some courage. And, we're all being vulnerable enough to share some of this today with each other. So please know that. I've said I would keep it open for 5 minutes. Just with everybody else that's already on, at one point, time allowing, but I'll make it happen. I can make magic happen. We're going to do a guided visualization. So maybe just have something you can write down with. Doesn't need to be fabulous. Doesn't need to be a beautiful journal or whatever. It can be the back of an old envelope or a shopping list or anything at all. It's not probably going to be reams and reams either. But if you've got something that you can just make some notes with, that'd be great. As I say, I'm not really, I'm quite relaxed here, not super perfectionism. So yes, please have just something you can make a couple of notes with, because we will have an opportunity, as I say, to do a really gorgeous visualization coming towards the end of this session. So just have something to write with. For those of you that have just joined, we're just saying hello to each other, just saying where you're coming in from, where you're joining us from tonight. Also, there's an invitation from me, should you wish to change your name, if you don't want to have your camera on, because we're going to be doing some sharing in the chat function, and I'm inviting us to go deep. You seem to know me, and I don't like to hold back with myself. So, and I'll be sharing more and more about myself. So yeah, the invitation is to get involved, however you feel comfortable. And if that comfort for you is changing your name on here to give you courage, please do it. I actually went to go with one of my best friends last night to go and see Esther Perel, which was incredible. She was in London for one night, and she did a Q&A where people could come down and ask questions on mics that were dotted around the room. And one of the things that she said, and again, I'd like to do this as an invitation just while we're waiting for people to jump in and join, is that, the people that are often quite shy, use this as your opportunity to ask the question. Like, use this as the opportunity to show up and say what you're really feeling. And do you know what? If it's this group today, and this is where you're saying what you really feel, and you haven't like verbalized it before, have the courage to do it here. And I know that's a huge step. I'm not minimizing that in the slightest. It is a huge step. Okay, I will click here and there to let people in when I can, but I said 5 minutes, and 5 minutes is up, and I'm time police as well as escorting you all on this journey this evening. So again, thank you so much for joining me. This is a bit of a well, it's the first. It's the first that I've decided to do this, but there were so many messages and such a strong response from when I put out the call on social media just about self-love, and when I was talking about my own experience of self-love as well, that I felt compelled to do something. And so Natalie, who is my incredible assistant, she's here right now, the other side of my kitchen. Hi Glamour, that's how we operate here. And we talked about what we could do and what we could give back. And we've decided to do a whole series of these, decoding. I think there are industries, markets, some individuals that commercialize in the wrong way from people maybe not getting answers and not being able to help themselves. And I never want to be one of those people. And also I have been through my own experiences, and in those moments of pain and just that moment when the floor moves underneath you and you have that horrific realization and you just feel completely at sea and you are desperate for anything that will help you in that moment. There are some sharks in the water, and what I'm going to try and do is just distill and give you the things that I know work because it helped me. Now, it might not be the right thing for everybody, but I hope that I'm going to give you enough tools. There'll be something that each of you can use to apply to your own situations and your own lives. And I've wanged on about this before, but the power of this community that we're in together right now, the fact that all of you are here from all over the world, you've seen that in the chat function, and we're united by this, and looking at the faces and the nodding on the cameras when I'm talking, like, this is not something that you're going through alone. And wherever you're greeting us, me in this journey right now, thank you. And each of you should be really proud for bringing this in tonight. So I thought before we went into self-love, we could go to something that is possibly more universal. And I thought I would share a few more details on my story of self-low. So one of my lowest points was, or most challenging and very difficult, which is sort of what I was alluding to in the videos that I put on Instagram, was just simply because it was too much in a space of time. And I think so many of us find that this happens, and it just all seems to come at once. And it happens when we're depleted, and we're depleted further, and it reduces further. And so for me, that time was coming through one of the lockdowns. It was my business is changing. I'm going through a divorce, which took a really long time because of the process and lockdown happening and all of that. I'd started dating again, transitioning into this world. That was a series of horrendous letdowns. There was, you throw yourself into all of these things. I'm learning in my new role of being a single mother. That's something I hadn't done. I'm transitioning out from being a wife. I'm taking off that role. That's something that's no longer a part of who I am or my identity. I'm learning how to do all of this. And this is without most of the support systems. And I'll be honest, a lot of the distractions that otherwise I would have been using to try and keep me going during that time. So it was a very, very exposing period of time for me. It was very overwhelming. It was so overwhelming that I developed a really sexy new habit, and that habit was clenching my jaw. So I don't know if anyone's ever done teeth grinding or jaw clenching, but I found that my anxiety was such that it spilled over and out of my subconscious, and I particularly did it at night, where I would clench my jaw so hard. And I actually had some Botox put in my jaw, and my dentist said that they could do that to stop me doing it. And they couldn't get the needle in this side because it was so tense from me holding on. And I'm speaking through gritted teeth because, my God, I was holding on at moments and taking everything into this space. And I also probably wasn't speaking my truth in the way that I needed to. So, and just to really normalize this, I was a therapist and a coach still at that time. And I have the skills and I have the tools and I was utilizing all of them. I have the community, I have the peer group, I have access to therapy, I have all that stuff. I am privileged in that way, and still that was too much for me to bear. So I want to normalize whatever, I see so many nodding faces. I want to normalize whatever you're all experiencing. There was a very popular post that I put up about burning out even when you're doing something you love. And I know there'll be a lot of coaches and therapists on this call, and just giving, people that are nurturers and givers and giving roles and partners and family members. And it can still really affect you even when you're doing things that you know are right. What I was doing is right for me and my daughter, but it was agony and I was physically bearing the burden of that. So that was my self-load. So it was divorce, lockdown, business changes, frankly there's a bit of financial worry in that, single mother, transitioning out of being a wife, a lot of letdown in trying to date early on. I'm sure there was other things in there. Oh, a frenemy situation came to light. Yeah, and my new sexy jaw clenching habit. So I thought what we might do to get to know each other better, and I mentioned this, was go into the chat and talk about a couple of self-lows. I thought we could normalize some self-lows in there. So those were mine that I had all at once, and I know I have messages from so many people as well that tell me that it's my marriage and it's my job and there's been a loss and there's something else. So I think it'd be quite nice if we could start putting a few things in the chat just to help everyone else. This is a gift to other people with perhaps some of the narrative of your own self-lows. Oh, grief and blame. Thank you for sharing that. Huge, two huge ones. Thank you for sharing that. Asking for divorce in your job. Wow. Wow. Yep, I feel that one. Not smart enough. I lost my dad. Oh, I'm so sorry. The career I thought. Fears of abandonment. Guys, this is amazing. You are amazing how you're showing up for each other today. Thank you so much. Oh, the career I thought would be the right fit and didn't work out as I thought it would. Business, financial struggle. Lost yourself. Feeling like I'm not enough. Husband's affair, won't admit to. Lack of confidence and indecisiveness, not keeping up with tasks, yeah, just overwhelm. Can you all see some of these coming through? Can you all resonate? Look at this, look at how much of it there is. I mean, every single one, a husband's cheating, business loss, divorce, friend betrayal, whoa, we've got a full house, yep, like addiction and mental health, procrastination, constant anxiety and worry. I've lived there. It's pretty horrible. That wasn't a postcode that I would choose to return to. Oh God, I'm so sorry. Sexual assault. Not being able to heal myself quickly enough. Perfectionism of healing as well. Thank you all so much for sharing these. I'm going to keep the chat open, by the way, after this is finished, because this is coming through thick and fast now, and I think some of us take a little bit longer to process and might want a bit of time to be able to go back through some of these. The reason that I asked this, the reason that I share in the way that I did, is because shame, the shame that we keep to ourselves, is the thing that keeps us isolated from others. It stops us being connected. It stops us being able to show up in relationship. And all of you here being able to read through these comments and seeing what people are writing, every single one of them is an unbelievable burden that someone's had to bear. And we're all here. This is something that all of us are experiencing and feeling, different elements of it, different experiences, different situations. But we're all here and we're all going through or have been through these things all at once. Loss, grief and shame. It's huge. That is one hell of a burden. So I want to normalize, and again, thank you all for the courage you've just shown in being this vulnerable. It's exceptional to be able to share this with this group, and thank you, because you're giving permission. Every single one of these messages is giving permission to someone else here, and I know it because I was that person. I was so afraid to say some of the things that I was experiencing. This is before a lot of my journey. I just couldn't even get the words out. I know that this will resonate as well. It's when something's living about here, and if anyone asks you how you're doing and you just have to say, yeah, yeah, I'm fine, and kind of bat it away because it just lives here all the time and it's ready to spill out and you're on the edge. And that's a horrible place to live. So thank you again. And as I say, I will leave this open for a period of time tonight so that you're able to read back through some of these. So that's the self-low. And as we say, we've had a look through some of the experiences that everybody's having. But that's when I did the video, and I you know, it's almost humorous, but you're scrabbling around and you've been through these experiences, and then you have this helpful person, or, you know, someone like me that pops up on Instagram and is all shiny and goes, hey, do you know what you should do? Do you know what you should do to get through all that? And by the way, all that huge list of things that people are going through, do you know what you should do? Do you know what you need? And you're like, oh my God, anything to get me out of this pain. It is overwhelming and unbearable, and I have such a finite energy reserve. Like, the only thing I can do right now is work out how to put one foot in front of the other. What you should do is love yourself first. And for me, I was just like, what are you talking about? Like, honestly, it's all I can do to try and function and fulfill and meet the very basic tasks that are in my day right now. My responsibilities, you know, the things that I cannot just lie on the sofa and zone out to 10 episodes of some box set on Netflix because I'm a mother and I do other things and all of this stuff, you know, like I cannot. And the problem with the self-love narrative sometimes is it comes with a great big list of stuff. So again, you've got these really well-meaning friends or family members or whoever, and they're like, you used to love running, go and join that running club again. I've got you some candles and a lovely book. You know, why don't you have another bath? That's lovely. It's a great thing to do. And you should journal. You should have matcha, give up coffee, move more, get up at 5 a.m. You know, and it's another list of stuff, right? It's more things that are coming in all the time. And we're hitting this place of overwhelm from our life. And you've just seen all the things that we're talking about and that we're going through. And so what we're told that we should do to feel better about ourselves is more, right? And then there comes this kind of perfectionism with that list as well. Like, if you're not, well, you're having a really bad time, right? So yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm having a really bad time, right? So you need to love yourself. Okay, great. So loving yourself looks like being perfect and doing all these things on a list that you need to be doing to be proving or showing that you're looking after yourself well enough. And what's well enough? And it's the language of perfectionism again. It's like more of this inner critic territory again. And then you can feel even worse. You can feel even more deficient. You're like, I can't even do this. I've made the bubble bath. I've got the candles lit. I'm listening to, you know, Enya, and I still feel terrible. What's wrong with me? Why can't I get over this? Why am I the only one? And again, please look to this room today just to know that that is not the case at all. And there is an industry that benefits from stuff that we need to do and take and consume. And all of this stuff is outside of yourself, okay? So self-love and a lot of this practice is outside of yourself. Now, I'm not saying, of course, physical movement, what we put in our bodies is important. That's not my MO to tell you about that. We're all different and you know what you need to do to nurture yourself. But it's the narrative that you need to take on more in order to be better with yourself. And that's where I'm in a slightly different camp. And that's what we're going to talk about a bit more today. So I thought we could go through and have a little look at sort of where we're maybe using some of these things, where perhaps it's been given to us as a helpful suggestion, but also perhaps some of the things that we're choosing to do to not maybe be with ourselves. So I was away recently and I was away on my own, and I had a huge response to a newsletter and to some stories that I put up about me being on this holiday on my own. I went away for 3 days and I knew that I'd need a little break after transitioning my daughter to a new school, and it was emotionally and mentally quite a big deal. And I knew I'd be a little bit burnt out, so I'd planned this in for myself. But I had so many messages from people saying that it was unbelievably courageous. They really wish they could do that. They're a few steps away from that. They really want it for themselves. And I was a little bit surprised about that. But actually, I remember back to when I first started doing that, being okay with myself alone. And it was scary and it makes you feel very vulnerable. But that is the root of self-love. We don't want to be alone with ourselves. That is very, very, very different to being lonely. As humans, we need to be connected. I was, listening to the High Priestess Esther last night, who says that our relationships are, a great depiction of our happiness. We rely on connection as humans. Totally true. What we're talking about here with self-love is being comfortable alone. And I don't just mean, I live on my own. My daughter goes to her co-parent. Quite a lot of the time, I'm here on my own and I love it. It's different because there's always something to do. These are exits from being alone. So we just talked about the list of self-care stuff, the things, but there are other exits that you can take from relationships, including the relationship with yourself and being alone. Things like, oh, I need to exercise again. There's a wash I need to put on. There's some more work I could be doing. There's there's something else I need to be achieving. There's a course I could be looking into. I could research this thing. I could do something else. And all of this stuff is really valid and it can make you feel like you're doing something good. I'm doing a good hobby. I'm listening to something. I'm working on this. I'm doing something else, but it's all noise. It's all distraction. And so actually what we're doing there is we're still avoiding being with ourselves. We're still avoiding being alone with ourselves. So I'd like just to take a little moment for you to think about some of the exits that you've taken. So being on your phone is one. I'm going to be in the bath. I'm using this example, because we talk about self-care, but you're doing that and you're scrolling. Or you're, I think most of us work out with music, but we're going for a walk in nature, but we're still blasting and listening to other things. Or we're even maybe carving out some time to connect with a friend and have a conversation, but we're distracted or doing something else. Or just trying to put layers on to stop us being really open and really vulnerable. And again, being just simply with ourselves. So I'd love us to jump into the chat again and just talk about some of the exits we take. My favorite to avoid, or when I used to avoid being with myself, would be learning, which is valuable. It's a very valuable exit. It's me upgrading my software. I can offer more to my clients. I can be better. I can be the most terrific coach and therapist ever. But I would use that as an exit and as an excuse not to be alone. So I'd love to hear from other people. Same. Research and learning is my out. Reading and learning. Yep. Watching more educational videos. Oh, YouTube's a favorite of mine. Yep. Courses and more courses. Researching. Playing sport. Yep. Taking care of others. Huge one. Huge one. Taking care of others. How many of you here will be, and it's justified, right? Caring for someone that needs it, stepping into a friendship, diving in to help someone else that's suffering because it stops us looking at maybe where we're feeling and it's valuable. Yeah, traveling. Yeah, that's one of my favorites, flexing my passport, getting out of there, planning a trip, getting out on the trip. Yeah, all of that. Look at these coming through. Yeah, partying and traveling. I think some Sagittarius placements on here. Yeah, researching. Yes, yeah. Makeup podcasts. Wow, look at these flying through. These are awesome. Thank you. Thank you for being so honest. More projects at work. Yeah, we can do more work. I'll take on another project. I'll complain about it, but I'll take it on and I will be exhausted later. Thinking about joining the circus. Oh, amazing. More dogs. Yeah, more pets. Let's care for more animals. Yeah, buying stuff. Oh my goodness. I read something recently that the time that people are most likely to buy things on the internet are between 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. Does that resonate with anybody? So again, we're doing something but not being alone. So we're actively scrolling, and even if it's something that we might need, but we're doing it in that moment. Again, we're doing something useful, something to avoid being with ourselves alone again. Lovely. Thank you so much for sharing that. So I'm going to take us towards doing this visualization in a minute. But before I do that, I just sort of want to really hang on to this point. That in order to love ourselves first, we need to like ourselves first, okay? But how are we going to like ourselves first if we don't know ourselves? And I think for me, that was the biggest realization, leap, reflection that I needed to make. because I was always using these exits. I was always finding things to fill my time. Even on lockdown, I couldn't go out. I still managed to find things to do to fill my time that were valuable or whatever they were. But look what was happening to me. It wasn't serving me at all. And I was still desperately trying to get away from myself. I was scared of being alone with myself. And so the way to cultivate self-love is to start with cultivating self-like, which I think feels more doable. I think that feels more bite-sized somehow. It stops us choosing things and people that are not aligned with ourselves. It stops us wearing masks and showing up inauthentically in relationships, not because we mean to be, but because, again, we don't really know what we like or dislike. We might get triggered, we might get other emotional things happening to us. But until we really get, okay with ourselves and comfortable with ourselves, that's when you'll start seeing your outer world change as well. Also, when we've been in dynamics, we've had a lot of these come through on the chat, relationships maybe not aligned with our highest good, work, things like that. Sometimes in the process of trying to stabilize those, we can self-abandon. And again, if we don't know what our needs are and who we really are, and therefore what our needs are, it can be very tempting to self-abandon as well. And that's when we can feel quite so lost and quite so at sea. So for me, one of the ways that I got to get to know myself, because I decided I can't do this anymore. I've got to stop the exits. I've got to stop the scrolling. I've got to stop filling the time, relaxation time, in other ways. I had to learn to really find and grow this muscle. How am I going to start using this muscle of just being okay on my own? How am I going to nurture self-love and self-like? For me, I need to get to know myself first. So I can own this, human doing rather than human being, did my escape, which is I completed the internet. I read every book that I could get my hands on in this particular sphere that I felt I was in at this time. Did all the podcasts, did all the stuff, while I was walking, while I was in nature, all the things, did all the things. And it got to a point where I thought, right, that's enough. You really need to just make this quiet, and you need to really get under the bonnet of who you are and get to know yourself. So I started asking myself questions. Now, I'm a coach and I'm a therapist, and I'm good at asking questions. I'm great at asking questions. I'm really good at listening. But I wasn't good at doing that with myself. I didn't really even want to go there. The things that I was telling myself and I was hearing was very surface level. A lot of it was also led by the inner critic. So when it should, the language of should, that's also coming from a place of lack, and it's coming from a place of trying to fit in and connect again, but from this surface level space, because I'm not operating from what I know to be true about me. So I got really quiet. And when I first ever started coaching, this is like 12 years ago, you do these very powerful questions, is what it's called. And I developed my own self-reflection guide for myself. That's how it started. And these questions are designed to be really, really transformative. But more than that, they're designed to be really honest. They held me accountable. They made me really not wriggle off the hook at all and go into what was absolutely going on in that time. And the key to it was not when, not after a holiday, not next week, not after a break, right now in this moment, asking these questions honestly. And oh my word, I had been avoiding so much stuff. I didn't know a lot of things about myself. I had managed quite amazingly, although probably my body was showing me what was going on there. I've been holding on and gripping on and keeping it all together and keeping the facade shiny. But I had been managing to avoid going anywhere near who I really am for a really bloody long time, actually. And I did it really well. I can be honest, I was fantastic at not knowing myself and not acting from a place of really going there. So this self-reflection guide is actually now on the website. This is the thing that I made for me that Natalie has now made beautiful and is now for everyone else. But I started there, and it goes through my past, my things in my history, my past, relationships, my relationship to myself, things I do like about myself that I don't, Even down to, if it was a moon on a stick, as one of my friends, I think is on here tonight, says, if you could have a moon on a stick, as in anything you want, how would you choose to spend your day? And I hadn't even gone into that. Didn't know. I hadn't allowed myself to dream into these things. But yeah, it goes through family history, relationships, your relationship to pleasure, everything like that, to really inform yourself of who you are. And it was very confronting. And there were some things that I had to really look into there and take ownership. But I do know myself, and I use that every single year now, maybe more often if I feel like I'm at a crossroads in a big decision with something and I want to, again, hold myself accountable for where I am in this moment. Where am I choosing to spend my energy? What do I need more of and less of? And it's something that has been pivotal to me. So that is what I would offer as well, is this real inquiry into yourself, which is where self-love comes from. So I've promised you all a visualization. That's what we're going to do now. I know some of you on this call will have done this before. I'm tweaking it slightly, but we're going to have the opportunity to meet a future version of ourselves who's going to bring us some wisdom. So I'm just going to invite you all wherever you are now. If you've got your legs crossed, however you're sitting, please uncross them. That's important when we're doing any kind of visualization. And if everyone just takes a deep breath in through your nose and a big sigh out through a soft open jaw. Do 2 more of those. A big sigh in through your nose and exhaling out through a soft open jaw. Last one. Inhale through your nose, and as you exhale out of your soft open jaw, allow your eyes to close, and just close really slowly for me and close them down. I want you to imagine that you're looking at a wall, and that wall has got a beautiful, heavy, ornate iron gate in it. It's all you can see. And you go to push on this heavy iron gate, and as you do, it opens. And when it opens up into the most beautiful walled garden that you have ever seen. The grass is the most perfect green. The smell of the flowers is divine. The warmth of your sun is just hitting your skin gently, making you feel comfortable, connected and safe. You see beautiful birds, you see butterflies. You're walking around the most serene garden, taking in this exquisite experience. And as you're walking around, you see a beautiful bench at the back of the garden, somewhere that you can take a seat and enjoy this experience. So you make your way to the back of this garden and take a seat on this bench. But as you do so, you look over to your left and you notice that there's somebody else sitting there. And that person looks really familiar. And that's because this person is you. But it's not you as you are now. This is you when you were 70. And the great news is you look absolutely terrific. You are energetic, you are glowing, you are happy, you're exuberant. So just take a moment to really get to know, say hello to, and connect with this 70-year-old version of yourself. Say hello, however feels the most natural to you. It may be a hug or holding hands or just a simple wave. Now your 70-year-old self has some wisdom for you. They obviously know exactly where you are now, and they know your future, and you know it's amazing because you can see how great you look. Now your 70-year-old self is going to impart some questions to you, and I want you just to listen to them now, and at the end of this we will take notes. And the first question your 70-year-old self is going to answer. So I want you to ask the question to them, in your mind or out loud, however you would like, is what is it that I need less of in my life right now? And just take a few moments to listen to their answer. And the next question I want you to ask your 70-year-old self is, what is it that I need more of in my life right now? And again, listen for their answer. Now, your 70-year-old self knows you better than anyone, and they've also got some advanced wisdom on you. And they have a secret about you, a secret about your true self, and they want to tell you that secret now. So please listen. And lastly, your 70-year-old self has a gift for you. So please hold out your hand and accept the gift that they have for you. And they're also going to tell you why they want you to have this gift. Now, in a moment, it's going to be time for you to say goodbye to your 70-year-old self. So just take this last minute to thank them and say goodbye, however feels really natural to you. And I want you to rise from that bench and take one look back to that fantastic 70-year-old version of you, and then start walking back through that beautiful garden all the way to that big, heavy, ornate iron gate. And as you give it a push, you walk through and you step into yourself here today. So if you want, just you're coming back into the room, give yourself a stretch. You can move your arms, do a big breath in, give yourself a shake, whatever you need to do to get back into the here and now. And as I promised, you could write these things down on the pen and paper. You can pop them in the chat. I would love people to do both so that we can start collecting some of these. But the first question your 70-year-old self asked you was what you need less of in your life right now. So please make a note for yourself, share it in the group, but this is less of. Oh, drama. Love that. Less drama. Others validation. Ooh, yes. Less indication. Distractions. Love these. Stress. Feel that. I feel that. Worry, self-doubt. Oh wow, look at these flooding through. Distractions again. See, we're all in this very much together. Stress, overthinking, judgment from self and others. Wow. Wow, judgment from others. Look at this. Yeah, negative people, less comparison, waiting for them, questioning yourself, stressing and time wasting. These are incredible. These are incredible. Yeah, we all need less of that. Self-doubt, self-blame, approving the affection from toxic colleagues. Oh, less of that, less anxiety. Less thinking of others' opinions, less drama, less conflict. Wow. Thank you. Less attachment. The next question that you asked your 70-year-old self was, what is it that you need more of in your life right now? So again, please make a note for you and for those that are happy to share. More peace, more love, self-love, self-trust, loving, supportive relationships, belief in myself, kind to yourself, self-approval, believing I'm a wonderful person, self-acceptance, self-love and trust, self-belief. Oh, these are amazing. More structure and focus, discipline. Wow. Self-respect and love, peace, detachment from things that no longer serve me, acceptance from things that I can't control. Wow. Oh my goodness. Sense of you. Love that. It's very emotional. It's this most emotional one that I do. Thank you. Time to get to know myself. Self-love and self-admiration, how far I've come. 100%. Love that. Relaxation and love. Okay, the next thing your 70-year-old self wanted to tell you was they knew something about you. They are you. They had a secret about you and they wanted to share that with you. So again, that's a note for you. And if you want to pop it in the chat, this is a secret about yourself. You will live to be an old man, and a fabulous one, very energetic old man. I'm more powerful than I can imagine. Yes, you are. Everything is going to work out. You're more powerful than you know. And it's time to know and believe it. Oh, I feel this. You can do it if you focus. You'll be happier when you can accept being alone. Wow, these are so powerful. You'll get more than you can possibly imagine. Yes, you know the answer and trust yourself. Everything will be fine. You can achieve whatever you dream of. I am more than capable. Yes, you are. Oh my goodness, look at this. Look at this. You feel the vibration wherever we are? You're stronger than you can ever imagine. Oh my goodness. This is, the vibe is rising. You're more capable than you think. You're going to get there. Don't take life too seriously. Amazing. I am more than what my old self says. You have a superpower that brings joy. Dream and believe. You're all you ever need to be. Oh, that is beautiful. Love this. Okay, the last thing that your 70-year-old self had for you was a gift. They wanted to give you something and they told you a reason why. So if you're happy to share the gift, again, for you, laughter. Oh, it's brilliant. A hug. Oh, beautiful. This is awesome. These are awesome shares. Remember your worth always. Forgiveness. Oh, what a gift. What a gift. Definitely have forgiveness, especially for you. Love this. I love this. This is amazing. A journal. Love that. She gave you a toy. Good for her. Warm smile and self-love. A piece of clothing I've always dreamed of. Oh, I love that. A small bunny. Love and light. Oh, these are amazing. What amazing answers. Thank you. Oh, a warm, comforting smile and an arm on the shoulder. This is beautiful. Oh, I love this. Thank you so much, everyone. Like, I actually can't believe that this is whizzed by and we're now at time, the 45-minute session, the first of this series, as I mentioned. I really hope that you enjoyed this. I love doing that visualization in particular. It's something that every time I do that as well is a way of really giving me some extra confidence. As I say, I'm going to leave this chat open. I need to go and do little Mrs. Bedtime. But if anybody wants to, feel free to add Instagram handles and things like that if you want to share and connect. We are here together because we've been having, you saw those messages, like you saw the experience that we're having. So if you want to be able to connect with other people, if you want to share, thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. If you want to share with other people and have some more supporters on your journey, do it. Sometimes our support group isn't there when we're in that moment, but you've just seen how many people were here tonight and the things that we're all sharing and what we're going through. So please do not feel that you're on your own ever. And getting to know yourself, your true self, you're never on your own either. It's like the best sort of, fantastic twin that you could have is really being at one with yourself. And please do remember that the path to self-love is really being happy alone. And that's just simply getting to know ourselves and taking little micro steps to honour ourselves and getting rid of that great big list of shoulds, even when it is deemed self-care. So thank you so much, everybody. As I say, I've got to go and put little Miss to bed and do some stories, but we will be doing more. We're going to do heartbreak, breakups, love languages, dating after divorce. Thought that might be a good one. I've got some great stories there. Yeah, we've got a few coming, but if there's any suggestions for any more that anyone would like, we'll be very, lovely, people are sharing their handles. So yeah, anything that anybody else wants. Yes, absolutely. People in the chat, we're not alone. Thank you so much for putting that comment in, Alexia. It's beautiful. It's exactly it. You're not alone. Like, this is a proper community. People are here sharing their handles because they want to connect and help each other. So please take them and please support one another. And you're absolutely not alone. And when you're good with you, you're never alone either. So yes, please DM us. It's Nat and I. We know we're going to, as I say, put this series on. We'll do whatever we can to support you. And I will leave this on right now. But with love and light and just gratitude to you all today. Thank you so much.